Coming to you on a super rainy day here. Welcome back to my channel. How are y'all? Today I want to help you breathe better. By the end of this video, I want you to have 5 tips to implement into your daily lifestyle so that you can breathe better, so that you can live better. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are involved in literally every part of your bodily functions. Every organ, every cell, everything that you do involves your breath. Your lungs regulate everything, especially your nervous system. So for those who suffer with anxiety and also feel like they have this shortness of breath, tightness in the chest, I want to help you. I'm here to help you. But before I get into my 5 fun tips, I need you to be subscribed. I need you to give this video a thumbs up so we can help other people who want to breathe better see this video. And lastly, I want you to comment down below what your first breathwork experience felt like. So whether that was with me, working one-on-one maybe, or in a class, or just a YouTube video you happen to watch, what did your first ever breathwork experience feel like? Tell me in the comments. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Number 1. This one is gonna seem like, chew your food, for real, for real. Chewing your food has so much to do with the way that you're breathing. When we don't properly break down the food, the stomach is then inflamed or, like full, and then it's crowding all the organs. I mean, it's literally making it harder to breathe. Think about when you're done eating like a really big meal, when maybe you ate a little bigger portion size than the stomach. Your stomach is the size of your fist, so pretty much all of us are eating more than we should, but that's another thing. Anyway, and think about how it felt to try to take a big deep breath. It's probably like really hard, you feel really full. There's just not a lot of space for your lungs to really expand, right? You feel a little bit like almost suffocated. And this is why sometimes those who are overweight particularly do have trouble breathing and tend to breathe a little bit heavier. There's just literally not enough space for the lungs to expand, to fill, to empty completely. So chewing your food, breaking it down all the way, as much as you can, really taking your time. In the yogi world, I think it's like 33 chews per bite. So your jaw will literally get this workout and you probably won't eat as much as you think you want to eat. And I will just piggyback in that and say that a lot of the foods we eat, especially in this day and age, are really processed, or a lot of salt, a lot of butter, a lot of oil, a lot of sugar, all those fun things that we love so much, cause inflammation. And so literally our airways are like a little more constricted when we eat more inflammatory foods. And so just being mindful of the foods you are choosing to put in your body, because it does have an effect on your breathing and your actual airways and the constriction that can happen when those areas inflame or swell due to the acidity of the foods that you're choosing. Again, just be mindful of that, of the food choices you're making, and regardless of whatever it is, at least chew it, break it down. I actually have a whole video about that. So I will link that down below before I make a part 2 right now. Number 2, stretch. Just like any other muscle in the body, your lungs can grow, they can expand, they can change. And so I actually think I will make a video, and if y'all give this enough thumbs up, then maybe I will. Kind of like a lung workout. Granted, tumo breathing and some of the breathwork practices I do are lung workouts, but there are certain things you can do, like twisting the body and breathing in. And this is constricting one lung, right? So I'm really like working out kind of one lung here when I'm twisted the body and breathing in. It's kind of like stretching and expanding and then doing the other side. Stretching has a lot to do with our ability to breathe properly. So it's really key. And that doesn't even necessarily mean go join a yoga gym. That just means really just practice moving your body and creating space in the body for that new energy, that new prana, the new oxygen, whatever, to come through. And just as importantly, if not more importantly, for that carbon dioxide to be released. So yeah, do your best in the morning while you're at work, sitting at the office, wherever, in the car even, if you can just try to be mindful of your body and really stretch as much as you can, as much as possible. It has a lot to do with that flexibility of expansion. That leads me into my 3rd one, which is kind of similar, but just in general, to add mindfulness to your posture. This is one that I feel like slips a lot of people's minds, and it's really simple, but it will change a lot. Because there is something about when we correct our posture and just sit upright that we naturally kind of breathe a little deeper. There's something in you that's like, oh, okay, wait. You like reset a little bit, especially when you're in this like slouch thing on your laptop or on your phone, like when somebody's like, yo, stand up straight. There's just naturally an easier pathway for air to flow in and out of the body. So that is a huge one that subtly makes a difference in the long run. I mean, it might feel like not that big of a deal, but I promise it's that big of a deal. Really, really add mindfulness to your posture, whether that's sitting at the edge of a chair, because sometimes at the back of a chair, we're kind of like sloped and we actually kind of lose that diaphragmatic ability. So at the edge of a chair, there's really no room for that and the posture's fully supported. It doesn't mean that your back has to be like fully erect and stiff, just supported, just firm, just upright so that your lungs have space. Number 4, one of my favorite ones that I talk about all the time, but practice to extend your exhales. And now when I say this, I'm gonna also add in here, because you guys have heard me say this before, and I've had people like, well, that's still hard sometimes. Just like any other muscle in your body, you have to be patient, you have to give it grace. And so when we exhale, because most of us are and have been for 20 plus years of our lives, like literally majority of your life, in a subtle hyperventilative state where we're not exhaling properly, we're actually over inhaling. So we have like a crazy amount of O2 and not enough carbon dioxide in the body. This ratio that really actually makes it harder to breathe. And I know you're like, but I have more oxygen. It's really about more so having a more balanced ratio rather than like I have so much oxygen, because really you're just over breathing. Breathing so much per minute, 18 or more breaths a minute is that fight or flight. By breathing less, you have more presence and you allow a more balanced ratio of that carbon dioxide, oxygen in the body. Makes your body feel safe and makes your nervous system calm down and allows your digestive system to do what it needs to do and allows circulation to heal the places it needs to heal and your overall mental health to just be better. So all that to say, practice longer exhales and be patient with yourself. A really good technique, I'm totally stealing this or sharing this from the book Breath by James Nestor. It's such a good one to do if you really, really struggle with it. Honestly, forget the technical name of what that breath technique is, but essentially inhaling in, and on your exhale, counting down from 10 continuously. So let me do that again because I can't talk and breathe. So you're inhaling in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was a long exhale, right? That is how you can really start to work out the lungs. And I will include that in this like lung workout video that I'm thinking about making. But that is a great technique to practice right now to really get into those extended exhales. You know, every time we're talking, singing, laughing, that's all through the mouth. Like that's all out of the mouth. So if just breathing out doesn't feel like you can really get as much out, try counting down from 10 continuously, even to the point where you saw me like mouthing the numbers and I wasn't even necessarily adding sound to them, like literally until you can't anymore. And just do that continuously as long as comfortable. But you will notice a difference in that, and by exhaling longer, you'll be able to breathe in deeper. You gotta make space so that you can receive. And last, but definitely not least, I would make it the number 1 thing here. Number 5 is breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose. Like, I'm not screaming about this all the time on the internet for no reason. It has changed my life. It is literally, I know people that have changed their face structure. They look younger. Their jaws have changed. Their overall sleep apnea was healed. All kind of things. I mean, literally all kind of things. Me personally, I don't get migraines anymore that I used to always get. And I just thought like, this is me. This is just how I am. And like, nah, bruh, that's not true. So breathe through your nose. And if you struggle to breathe from your nose or it feels suffocating, that's okay. Again, your oxygen and carbon dioxide levels are probably not at a very like equal ratio, and that's okay. It's a practice, but as much as you can, really, really bring awareness to if you're breathing in through your mouth. During physical activity and during sleep, I feel like are the two biggest places where people lose that mindfulness. And granted, during physical activity can be difficult, and I totally understand that. That is where I personally used to not really be as mindful, and that's when I would get migraines. And then in this last year, I have added just really making that a point to anytime I go on a run, anytime I do workout, anytime I do yoga, like I'm only breathing through my nose. I have not experienced a headache since. I didn't even know this life could exist like this. And then during sleep, personally, I have never had too much of an issue with mouth breathing during sleeping. But if that is a thing for you, and I know it sounds silly, it might even look silly, but tape your mouth. For real. Mouth tape is a super popular thing. It's not that weird, I promise. You can just add like a little piece of tape right here. And people who snore, have sleep apnea, just literally any sleeping issues that you think you have and that are just like a part of your life, they don't have to exist, and 95% sure that they have to do with the way you're breathing and eating. But those two coincide like we talked about in number 1. Breathing through your nose is huge. And if you feel like, well, my nose is always stuffy, that has a lot to do with what you're eating. And that, again, goes back to that like restricted airways, inflammatory foods, acidic foods, mucus, right? I don't know, Dr. Sebi talked about it the most, but mucus is kind of the root of all disease. And so inflammation is as well, but they both coincide in a lot of ways. And in the midst of a stuffy nose, there's a lot of like natural remedies out there if you really want to just clear your airways. Maybe I can link some down below. Personal favorite, if I am feeling congested, is just getting hot water, putting it in a large bowl, putting eucalyptus or peppermint essential oils in the water, putting a towel over my head, and just creating this face sauna, essentially. And it really just like opens up everything. You will notice a difference and feel so good when you're done. But there are a ton of different methods out there to unclog your nose, but I really want you to, or I encourage you to, look at solving the problem and not just band-aiding it. Also, breathing through your nose more will actually help clear it out. The mouth is for eating, the nose is for breathing. But that is it for this video. These are my 5 tips to breathe better. Which one of these will you practice today? I really want you to practice them all. But in the next 24 hours, which one of these will you implement? And let me know on that. And feel free to comment that down below, or just keep that promise to yourself. But even if you only implement just one of these, I can guarantee you'll notice a difference. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.